Okay, so I'm new to this Facebook Live thing, so we'll just give it a try and see if anyone joins. But effectively, the point of this is to document me trying to do this for the first time, and that is to animate a character turnaround. If you've never seen my face, there it is. I am recording this to post later. But today I'll be using this Krita program, or Krita. Not sure how exactly it's supposed to be pronounced, but it's a pretty cool program in that it has pretty much all the functionalities of Photoshop, but it's free. So although I'm learning Photoshop for the purposes of potentially getting a job in the industry one day, if I ever can't afford it, then I can just go to Krita. This window capture's messing up. Having some technical difficulties, as you may see. Don't think anyone's on yet, so that's good. There we go. Now we're cooking. Cool. So this is the character that I'm calling Silver Shepherd. Supposed to be kind of a super soldier, like dog, wolf, coyote type character. Inspirations come from Batman, from Wolverine, from Master Chief, from the Power Rangers. Just a whole lot of different inspirations in there, and this is part of the superhero group that I'm working on based on me and my brothers. And so this character is supposed to be kind of representative of my brother Chris, who's one of his favorite characters was Batman growing up, and still I think is one of his favorite characters. So this character is supposed to be like a fierce, fast, badass, kind of. I'm thinking he'll probably have some military training, fighting training, some cool gear, and my rendition of him, he would also be able to transform into a big ass like werewolf type character. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create another document for the actual animation, and right now I'm picking the size of that. I'm gonna go ahead and go. This has it at 1600 by 1200, and if we're talking print media, we're gonna the standard is 300 DPI. Which correlates to how it looks, the clarity of it when it goes into print. So let's say it's 1600 pixels at 300 DPI. You're gonna get the max clarity at 5 inches, 5 1/3 inches. So if I wanted to print something, which this isn't that important for since this is more digital media at the end, then I would really only want to max that size out, the width out to 5 1/2 inches. So I'm thinking maybe 10 inches. Maybe I should just go 10 inches, and you could switch this actually to inches. And if I want to do 16 by 12 at 300 PPI or DPI, it's going to automatically calculate that. So 16 by 12 is a pretty good size, I think. Yeah, 16 by 12 is fine. So I'm creating that, and that did not come out to 16 by 12. Why did it do? That's not. It's been a while since I used this program. So I'm a little bit more. Oh, I see what it did. I'm a little bit more familiar with Photoshop at this point. There you go. So I'm just struggling through this, I guess. So cool. We have a new document, and it is going to be an animation hopefully by the end of this. So I'm going to go ahead and save this as Silver Shepherd animation. If you've been paying attention to the channel for a while, you may have seen me animate this character originally. So I kind of that design was kind of off the cuff, and I kind of wanted to do a little bit more for it and develop the character design as opposed to kind of just copy a different character design, which copying is good, because if you're going to be learning and you're going to be practicing, copying from someone else's work to learn from it is no harm. So people will tell you that that's the best way to learn sometimes. So what I just did is I went into this this little widget and popped in the animation workspace. That's the cool thing about this program, is that you could kind of mess around with the workspace to really fit your needs. So you could go in and work with vectors, which is a different type of illustration, or for big paint, that's more of the raster illustration, or animation, and in this case is a raster animation, traditional animation. It'll give you these what do you call them, scenes essentially. So it's pretty cool to play with. I'm just gonna go ahead and like start messing with it. So view, windows. I want to be able to see. Okay, so in this case, the layers show up as the down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this first image, I'm just going to hit Control C, see if that works on this program. Control V, and yes, it did. And we got ourselves the beginnings of an animation. So if you didn't see before, this is what I did in a 2D environment, or in a static environment, to create the viewpoints to really define what this character looks like all the way around, kind of 360. So this is not only useful in determining what he looks like for animators or illustrators in comic books and etc., but it can be used, like you see here, to create an animation. So that's what I'm going to be doing right now. So I'm going to set this up as a new frame. What did I do? How do I tell if anyone's watching this? I don't know, so I'll keep working anyway. So maybe I have to create. Okay, that automatically set. So what you see is a blue mark right there. So it's blue right there. So that means that there's information in that keyframe. And then when I click over to this next keyframe, it'll be blank. And if I turn on this little light bulb, what that does is create onion skin. So what you're seeing in red is the image from the last keyframe. So I'll go over to this next document and grab the next rotation in this image, which is this one right here. Hit Control C, copy, and pop that right inside there again. So grab this tool right here to transform again, and we're gonna go ahead and slide that over. This should be, oh, I see what it, unfortunately what it's doing is creating new layers, which I don't want. That's not what I want. So this keyframe is actually, I want it down here, but so you can see those rotating between the two keyframes. So Deselect Control Shift A. Okay. I also got used to the key shortcuts from the last, from Photoshop, which is why you see me struggling. I'm gonna go ahead and move that layer. Interesting that it's not showing me the onion skins. So the onion skin is what they call that red thing, that red part that I had shown before, where it shows the last image. So I'm just confused why it's not showing that here. That's so weird. Let's see, let's try to create another blank keyframe. And it's not showing that here either. Turn on, turn off. That's weird. So, and then you can actually like animate it, but this is going to be going too fast for it to work. The animation speed is right here, kind of frame rate, 24 frames per second. So if we change that to maybe 1 frame per second, that should slow it down way slow. So you can see that it went 1 Mississippi change, see? So anyway, I don't know what the hell's going on with this onion skin. But you can see that this was copied into this in a different size, and that was my oversight probably, because what happened was I took this whole section size-wise and I copied it. So the height is going to be relatively bigger than what I did before. So I'll hit Control C, come back over here, go back to this first keyframe and paste that. And it came out again a different size. So maybe it was this one that I messed up on. So I'll go back. Maybe it's supposed to be bigger. Let's try it. Control C, come back over here, hit paste. Yeah, interesting. So I'll probably just have to bring this up in size. I'm experimenting, kind of learning, so I don't really know what the hell I'm doing. So maybe I'll figure it out. Cool. So let's just keep doing that and then figure out the specifics after, because like I said, might as well just keep going if you don't know what you're doing, and then figure it out later. That's kind of my motto to life. Control C, pop that thing over here. It came in as a new layer, so that's easy to fix when you can just move it down to the correct layer. So now you have 1, 2, 3, and if we played it like that, so this should be pretty cool. by the end of it if I can do it right. And oops. Which is probably just glitching, the reason that it's not showing the onion skin. Yeah, it's probably just glitching. I'll probably have to close it out and open it back up and see if that helps. Since it is open source, I think sometimes it glitches that way. So now he's rotating, so he went from this to that to this, and now he's going to be looking the opposite direction. You know what you're seeing is me struggling. But if this was a harder program, I would be struggling a whole lot worse. So I guess if you look at it that way, it's actually pretty easy. So I don't know why that's pasting in a place off screen. Let's see if I can move it over. Yep. Okay. So I'm gonna try to center it up as much as possible, and if this had the onion skin, it would show where the last drawing piece was. But since it's not doing that, it's you can't really tell. So it's close, and I can go in and scooch it over probably. No? Oh, so I'm in the wrong layer. Scooched it over. And so now we got 1, 2, 3, 4. And hopefully when I speed it up a little bit, it'll look almost a lot smoother maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Here we go. Copy. If you see as you click down these keyframes, it stays as the last keyframe showing. So I'll create a blank keyframe, and that's gonna essentially create a blank canvas. And when you paste the drawing, it comes in automatically as a new layer, but you'll see it doesn't show up a keyframe there. So what I'll do is create a blank keyframe, but since I had pasted something in there, let's see. See, now I don't know why it's doing it weird like this. Once I hit create blank keyframe, it throws this drawing to the first frame automatically because I pasted in there. So I'll just drag it over to the right layer and delete that layer because I only want one layer. So, and sometimes I delete the wrong layer, and all you gotta do is hit Command Z and take it from there. So, ta-da. And from here, the cool thing is that everything repeats, or should repeat. So, so actually, I skipped some things. What did I do? I didn't skip something. So now things are going to repeat. So I can take, so you see it's turning. I could take this keyframe, not that one, this one. Hit right here. This says add a duplicate frame. Where did that go? I guess a right click. See. Copy to clipboard, come over here, hit paste. Huh. Paste from clipboard, there you go. So now what we're seeing is a duplicate of this one, but since we're turning around, I can take this and transform it and flip that on its x-axis, which there are shortcuts to do all this. It's just like I said, in this program I don't have it. So transform, and once it's in the transform format, if my freaking right key would work, mirror horizontally, ta-da, you got yourself a duplicate in the opposite direction. Hit enter and control shift A, that's to deselect, and now we got, so I think that's looking pretty cool right now. Let's see how it looks rotating. Okay, so you'll see that we seem to have missed one, right? So which one is missing? The one that's missing is this one that is the opposite direction. So copy to keyboard. What I'll do is I'll control shift, so it should be right between this keyframe and that one. So I'll take these, I could select multiple, shift them. How am I going to do this? Okay, let's see if I can insert. I'll just throw it. No, that's not. So I'm trying to slide these around. Okay, so that's, so I need to copy this one into this one. So I'll copy to clipboard and paste from clipboard. I can't see the live stream, so if anyone's actually on it, I'm sorry if you're commenting. I'm sure you're not. Let me see if I can check it on my phone. I don't really know how this works. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so it looks like no one's on, so that's cool. Cool, because we're just experimenting, I'm just learning, and so on and so forth. Cool. Oh, you guys haven't been able to see my face this whole time, huh? Good, because it is what it is, you know? So here we are. Now we have, let's play this to see how this looks. Dot, dot, dot. Okay, so you see what happened. I didn't flip it, right? So let's go in, and flip this thing. Transform tool, mirror horizontally, and hit that enter button. Control Shift A, and let's see how it looks. Okay, so I gotta mess with that anyway. Cool. I think it's looking pretty cool so far. So which one are we copying now? It's this one right here. This should be pretty easy. Pop that thing in here. Select it. Transform tool. Flip horizontally. And la-di-da. And then we can just, the front view is going to be the same. And there you go. There's 360. So let's try it out again. Some of these are coming out a little bit more grainy than the others. I wonder why. But in the meantime, let's see if we can move it a little faster. Let's try 2 frames per second. Should double the speed. You could see that some of these perspectives, we're going to end it at 10 frames. So we have a start frame and an end frame, so we'll end it at 10. So you can see that the quarter, 3/4 turns, which I'm new to. I haven't actually done a lot of practice on those, so this is my first time really trying those in a character turnaround. They don't look quite right. And part of my process in doing these drawings is literally just staring at it for a while to see what the hell I did wrong. You can see the angles are off, so it looks like it's rotated. It's just not cohesive, but that's okay, because again, this is my first time and I'm figuring this out. Okay, stop that. Go ahead and save it. I'll save this. This one I don't need to save because that's saved already. I haven't made any changes. No, I don't want to save it. And let's see if I close this out and open it up again. There you go. See, immediately you're seeing those onion skins, which hopefully will help me out. So you can see all the previous and future frames, and what I can do is mess with these settings where it only shows, or I could turn down the opacity based on how far back it is. If it's 1 frame, it's a little higher in opacity. If it's 2 frames behind, then it's lower in opacity. Same thing for in front of it, so let's see if that helps. So you can see that I can either shrink this one or enlarge this one, and I guess we might as well enlarge it. Take up as much space in this window as possible. Let's see if this does it to scale. So usually if you hit shift and scale it up, see, these don't even match up. What I'm trying to do is match these up, match the height up. You can see at the top, oops, trying to match the top ears up, because when that rotates. And really what the issue is the legs on this next one, looks like. So I drew them in a way that they ended up being shorter, stubbier, seems like. Everything else seems to be okay. So what I'm gonna do is going with this lasso tool. Let's see if this, grab this little pen and Control Shift A to deselect. Deselecting that allows me to select a new selection. So I'm going to go in and carefully draw around the legs. I didn't do a great job on that. And we'll just cut it off right there. What we can do is add more to it by Control Shift. And now I'm going to add these bottom ones. And I'm going to cut some of this off anyway. But let's see what I can do. Okay, so let's hit transform. And from there we have a few different options. And what I'm probably going to want to do, let's see, cage. No, that's not what I want to do then. So let's try warp. And so what this does is that you should be able to divide these into different segments. So this has 3 subdivisions. Why is that 3? Let's see what happens when I hit 4. Okay. Because the alternative... Alright, let's stop messing with this actually. Control AS. Let's just... let's just cut the legs. Let's do this like Surgery in Galactica, or whatever that movie is. You see that you can see that I grabbed too much over here, pop that out. And so what I'm going to do, transform this. Hey, looks like Diego's on. So I'm going to cut those legs off to line them up more at the bottom to give you the correct height. Hit that, deselect. Something's going on with my stream. You're not seeing the right thing. It's probably just a delay. Cool. So move those legs. Control AS, And now I'm going to grab a brush. Let's see what kind of brush I got. Toolbars, show Dockers, here we go. So I want my, where's my Dockers at? I want my advanced color selector, but it shows that it's already up. Oh, here we go. I just want to make sure that this is black, pure black. So what's going on? And now that I have the black brush, I can go in and draw. I could draw some new lines, right? So right now I'm in eraser mode. Some people actually prefer Krita to, let's see, it's this brush. Prefer Krita to like Photoshop and stuff. My brush turned it into an eraser. Oh, I gotta hit E twice, I see. So, la-di-da. Extend those lines there. This brush doesn't exactly match with my last brush. But it does the trick. Cool, so let's see if that looks a lot better. I think it does. So now we gotta mess with the next one, right? So keyframe 3, you can see that. So I'm just gonna turn off the keyframes, the onion skins in front of me, because I'm worried about what's going behind. So I'm gonna turn those way down. And I'm just gonna worry about what I've done already, because this is I'm more looking for at the starting point. I'm looking on my phone and it doesn't seem to. Oh, it's because I hit pause. I see. Cool. Diego, you still there? So you can see that this sizing is off. Hopefully we're closer with this one than we were with the other one. So hit shift, size that up. What you want to do is kind of match the important pieces. Oops. And there you go. So da. Cool. That was a little bit easier. The straight on views, the straight front view, the straight back view, and the straight side view are a lot easier than the 3/4 view. Just because you have to theorize what it would look like and play with perspective and so on and so forth. So one thing I can do, I size this one up. Probably size the other one up. Anyway, okay, let's just go one by one. 1, 2, 3. Now let's go to the fourth one. Now the fourth one I really had trouble with, as you can see, because it's the back view and I don't really know what the fuck I'm doing. So fuck it. And let's see if I can. And I knew I could mess with it inside here. So might as well get. My thought process is might as well get myself to a point. And then mess with it later. So let's see. Does sizing it up make sense? I think so. A little bit. Looks like this one the proportions were pretty close. And really this is just an issue of like angle. So what you can see here, and as you transition, you can see it looks like he's leaned back almost, or his head got skewed backwards or something. And that's what it looks like sped up a little bit. So hopefully by the end of this we will be all good. So let's see, how can I fuck with this to make it look better? So this 3/4 view and this one should be pretty similar. So the difference is it looks like let's mess with this onion skin. Let me turn this one up and turn this one down and see what the differences are. So it looks like so let me mess with my brushes real quick. I got like ADHD or something, but I'm gonna do a little bit more drawing than I have done so far. So I want to get the right brush. And if this fucking thing will let me click on stuff, then maybe I could do that. Did it save already? I built this badass computer and this thing can't save. Maybe it's because I got this browser up. Okay, so let me close some windows. Can y'all see my dog in the background? Lucy. Lucy. What's up, big butt? Say hi. Say hi. Cool. I think it's still saving. I think that's the issue sometimes. Save. Okay. I hit the brush key. Maybe that's why. There you go. It's my dumbass fault. Okay, let's do this. All right. What does this brush look like? That should suffice. So the question is, what the fuck should this look like? I'm thinking that the reason it looks weird is because this back of the head doesn't match. And really, I mean, maybe the outline of the head should be just exactly the same. So let's just erase this whole bitch and redraw that fucking head and see if that works out. Why not? Why not? You'll see here too, what I notice is, and these are tricks that your mind will play on you, right? So now I'm realizing that they are literally the same shape, just turned on its head. But instead of seeing the chin, it's hidden behind its shoulder. So this brush doesn't look that great. Okay. Let's see what other brushes I could try. Been sitting too long, my butt hurts. Cool. Let's just try this one. Nope. This one? That's a little better. That's kind of cool. Let's try a pen. Excuse me. Yeah. Well, let's stick with this pen. So what I was talking about is you're seeing the exact same shape. It would be easy, it would have been easy for me to just copy and paste it and erase the insides. And if you look at my Instagram page, I did that for the front and back view, but I couldn't justify it to myself theoretically in my brain to just copy and paste and redraw this. And so I've already spent a lot of time drawing this, so might as well just stick with it. So what you'll see over on this side is the shoulder piece. So now what are we doing? So this is the front of the head now instead of the back of the head, and this back of the head is, let's just trace it and see what happens, right? So la-di-da, and remember this is 2 keyframes back, so you got to remember that this is not directly behind it. So the keyframe directly behind it is a slightly different position. So I'm gonna pop that up. a lot of digital drawings is literally just hitting that Control Z button, which is undo, until you get a line that you're comfortable with. And theoretically, once you get better at it, you should have to draw less lines. Interesting thing about these shortcuts is the E button is for erase, and then you hit the E, but instead of switching to the eraser, what it does is switches your brush to erase. So I think that's kind of cool, interesting. So what are we working with right here? Let's go ahead and draw this line. I think we're going to probably take some of it out, but let's just do it for reference sake. So we're looking at the back of the head now. Come on, bitch. And when I say bitch, it's my hand. It's like, draw the shit. Draw it. Okay. Let me just start this shorter line. That was close. That was close. La-di-da. Thanks for hanging in there. Anyway, I'm just going to draw it right here. Fuck it. Here we go. So what we're drawing is, where's the ear? Now it's coming, since we're seeing the other side of the head, it's coming from back here and going up to that point. So now this ear becomes the one that's behind, and this terminates like that. If I could fucking draw, then this would work. So let's see, zoom button. Zooming is a little different on this, so that's okay. So instead of tapping, you're dragging. That's kind of cool. So here we go, drawing this thing. So this is not going to look like this, right? So what do I have as the shape of so what we have is kind of like this thing that goes down, comes around, up, like on the ear, kind of the way that it's designed. So, and this is the head, so when you turn, it should be a little shorter than that. And so what we're doing is going to be drawing this right here. Let's draw this right there, and this is going to kind of come right down in there. And over here what we have is another little tooth, so this is going to come like that and pop up. I should really bring that down a little bit, so let's just bring that down and see how that looks. Doesn't look so bad. It's actually got a pretty nice workflow now that I'm getting used to it with the eraser. Kind of the user experience design on these quick keys are that if I hit E to turn it into an eraser, then I hit E again to turn it into a brush. And what that does to me, as a person who understands a little bit about user experience, is that I can limit myself to one key. But another part of user experience is what do you lose, right? So in the other program, you hit E for erase and it switches to your eraser settings, and then you hit B for brush and it goes back to your brush settings. So what if I wanted a big eraser and a little brush? Then I'll leave those two at their different sizes, and I'll hit E and then I'll hit B to go to the preset settings. And in this case, these settings will be the same. You see that? So my brush and my eraser are the same size, and sometimes I don't want that. So you can see if I increase my brush size by hitting the brackets, now when I hit E, the eraser is the same size. But maybe I wanted a small brush and a small eraser, so hit E. And maybe I just don't know enough about it, so I'll just keep learning as I do, and we'll see how that works for me, right? So la-di-da, this is what this ear should look like, kinda. Bring that up like that. So yeah, it's gonna. I mean, I should practice Krita more, just so that I could have both. But just my research into the topic, and then for animation or illustration, you kind of have to know Photoshop, so because it's an industry standard. So I'd rather know it and not need it than need it and not know it. Okay. So what do we got so far? Got ourselves a little turnaround. Not quite there yet, so let me turn these mofos back up a little bit. And see what happens. Go ahead and save it just in case. Cool. So this one is similar in that these sizes don't really match up. And what I'm going to do is go back in and resize them like we did before. And maybe that's all we have to do. So you can see the keyframe from two frames away, 2 frames behind, and that's the bottom of the feet. And since it's a straight on perspective, then you want those to match, while the 3/4 is, you have to imagine that part of the body kind of gets a little closer to you if it's revolving around this axis. And that's just the way that I envision it. You could actually rotate these in a few different ways based on what perspective you want to look at it from. So that's just the way that I'm operating right now. But for me, the way that I'm imagining it is these sides of it get a little closer to you, so they're a little bit bigger, or a little bit, their placement is a little different, which doesn't exactly match up. If I were keeping that 100, I would, you see how these don't line up? Maybe I have to go in and mess with those. But these don't line up either, which is theoretically correct, because in perspective, this would be, in the perspective that I'm operating with, this would be farther away, which means it's smaller. So the fuck am I talking about? Let's see what it looks like. Okay, not bad. And obviously the ones that we've worked on seem to look better than the ones that we haven't worked on yet. So I think I'm just going to delete the last ones and replace them with the alternates. So let's see what that means. So this and this, no, this, keyframe 2 and keyframe 8, no, 6. Should be the same but flipped. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy that to clipboard. Let's see if I could just hit delete. Huh, yeah, it worked. And paste from keyboard. Let's see if I could just right click this. Nope. Okay. Transform. Can y'all hear me? Okay. Seems like you can. Anyway. Go ahead and flip those. Call that a day. Maybe scoot it. Oops. Scoot it a little bit this way. Control A, SA. And this one would be the alternate to this one. So what we're going to do is the same thing. Hit delete. Copy to clipboard. Paste from clipboard. And what's left? Did we do this one? No. So delete that one. Maybe I'll just leave that blank and end it on 7 and see how that looks. Oh, I see what I did. Start on 0. 0 to 7, let's see. Oh, I didn't flip it. Did I? I thought I flipped it. Alright. I'm tripping. Okay, so did I do this one? And this one. Okay, yep. La-di-da. And this one and that one. So this one should be the same as this one, which let's see, did I already switch those? They look kind of the same. Anyway, I'll just redo it. Paste from clipboard. Can move. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I mess with that. Okay, here we go. Select. Transform. Transform tool. And flip that. La-di-da. Okie dokie. I'm gonna go ahead and save this as a new file. Call it animation 2. And let's see how this looks. We're at 3 frame rate, starting at, should start at 0. Maybe it's 1. And go to 7. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, doesn't look, it's not like perfect, but it's a lot better. Yeah, I'd say it's a lot better, yeah. I gotta mess with those feet. I'm not doing a good job in the perspective department with those feet, I don't think. Let's see. Let me turn these up a little bit. So I'm going to do the keyframes. And if you remember, you can also do the forward keyframes. And what this does is helps me determine the alignment. And so let's see. Ugh. So what do we have? A whole lot of shit. So we're looking at all the keyframes at the same time, and you could see that they create this little carousel. And what I want to do is kind of get this in a position where they line up a little bit better. So you can see where some of them line up that they don't mirror the other side. So for instance, this one and this one and this one and this one. Nope, this one. Oh, I guess it's this one and that one. That's why. I'm tripping because it's 8. Let me just go ahead and copy this just for my own mental. Okay, this one and this one should be the same distance from so what I'm seeing is this line right here is not reflected. So which one is that one? Okay. And you guys are like, what the hell is this guy talking about? I see what it is. So I think this needs to slide over a bit just to work better with the whole thing. And so you should have a pretty clean, similar carousels. The tops, that's another thing I'm noticing. The tops, not exactly lining up, but that should be okay. It's a little better. Stupid foot. Okay, I just gotta redraw those feet. Yeah. Just for shits and giggles, let's see what it looks like going faster. Let's call it 5 frames per second. We're going to frame 7. Actually, Actually, we should go to frame 8 now, since there's 8 frames, so let's just do that. Doesn't look that much better, which is okay, which is kind of expected, right? Why would making it faster look better? I think I'm gonna call it right now. I think that's where we've gotten today. Is pretty cool. It's not perfect, but I'm gonna keep fucking with it. Oh, now I'm noticing the top too. The fucking head is like changing size. Okay, before we stop, hold up. I just wanna mess with this, cause this is bothering me now. Just cause. Go ahead and delete that. La-di-da. So do that there. And do it again over here. I'm just gonna go ahead and hit shift. Delete that bitch. Just cause. And I always think that these little details will make it look a lot better, and you never know, sometimes they do. Sometimes it looks incrementally better, and just changing those little details again and again and again until you get your finished product. Does the job. But what do I see right now is that these are not lining up, which is probably another reason. Oh, what did I do? Okay. So these should line up right here. Ish. Maybe that's why the head wasn't lining up. Okay. Save it. And one last time. Okay, it's looking kind of cool. I don't hate it. Again, I'm not a pro or nothing, but I'm just gonna go in and fix those feet. They're really fucking with me. I'm just gonna fucking fix them. Bitch ass feet. Alright, foot. My sworn nemesis. How will I fix you today? Since you've been the bane of my existence for the last 5 to 10 minutes. And the answer is, I'm just gonna draw you like a fucking foot like I was supposed to in the first place, right? And that's too fat. How's that? So theoretically, we should be following this line pretty closely, but like I said, since the perspective changed, it's gonna be like I could just go like that, but I think it's a little bit more nuanced where it's not quite right on it, but it's not quite that angled the way I have it drawn already. So this got a little bit of a 3-dimensional. Maybe this part goes to that line, and then we'll meet it with the other part of the line. And maybe that's the best way to do it. I think that looks a little better. Maybe I gotta mess with the other foot a little bit just to bring that angle apart a little bit. What size is this brush? 15. Just so that I could get a bigger eraser. And then go back to the brush and go down to 15 again. So maybe this looks a little bit more like that. Perspective on shoes and feet really always fuck with me, like so I probably have to work on that. And probably could just start drawing shoes and see in different angles to practice. People like shoes, right? People buy shoes, people wear expensive shoes, so it's, you know, not completely undesirable. I like shoes as much as the next guy. And so maybe I'll start drawing some fucking shoes. I don't know. Okay, so maybe that looks better. And so you can see this and this. And here's another foot. That's fucked up. So what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do on this one? What I'll think I'll do is try to match this up. Oops. With erase this whole fucking bottom bootstrap or whatever this is called. Try to line it up with the bottom of this one. So I'll go back to 15 and create an actual brush. So this heel part is kind of lining up with the bottom of that. So we bring that up like that. Pop this thing out. This should really come from the front. It's got a big ass calf, right? Maybe I'll slim that down a little bit just because I don't think he needs to have such a big calf. Let's just work on that foot. So that's going to come down like that. That's going to go, this should be going at the alternate angle to this. So let's work with that angle and pop it out like that. So that should look something like that. And so this angle shouldn't be so hard. And this angle should be something like that. Yeah, that should work. And actually, that should match up, maybe. Interesting. Interesting how these things work, eh? See, the cool thing about this shit is, like, every time I draw, I'm learning something new, and that's just cool as fuck. I mean, to me. And here we go. I'll create a little arch at the bottom of this foot. Just the smallest little arch. And I'll go ahead and erase this. and do a smaller angle. And then we have to come in and redraw this boot shape. It's kind of this fun squiggly. And here we go. La-di-da. Okay, I think I'm seeing improvement. Obviously, there's always room for more improvement. So I just did this one and this one. Should I just go ahead and copy and paste those? Guess might as well. That's what we've been doing this whole damn time. And after this, I'm probably done for the day on this drawing. Maybe go take a break, take my dogs for a walk or something. They fucking hate me right now. Oh, I see what I did. I didn't flip it. Come on, Josh. Get your shit together. Ta-da! Here we go. Nope. What the fuck? Oh, I see. Why did that start there? That's weird. That's pretty cool, I'd say. Yeah, maybe those upward angles on those feet are still a little too sharp. I was trying to mirror it, but it does not look like. Maybe all the angles are too sharp. Anyway, if it's just the feet, honestly, everything else looks pretty dope. I mean, pretty good. It's not perfect, like I said. Just gotta change some of the dimensions on some of the shapes, but for my first time, I'd say that's pretty cool. So, I'm gonna go ahead and stop this now. I'm gonna try to be doing more live streams and just documenting this process. If it's helpful to y'all, if you want to fucking download this and learn yourself, or you just want to see my process and how I go, just tune in and we'll go from there.